Hello everyone. So we have Eugene with us today. Hi Eugene, hope you're well. So I
Well,
just wanted to know a little bit more about you. Could you please tell us about like your role and the company as well?
yeah, so I'm Eugene. I am the president of Mammoth Security, and I run everything um, up down here. And we've been using you guys for about a year now, I think, right?
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Could you please let me know like how long you are being using Salesforce?
We've been using Salesforce for about 3 to 4 years now.
That's a very good time period. And how many different clouds you have?
Well, I feel like we have all of the clouds, but I know
Yeah,
that we use Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, and I think you might know better. Is there a third cloud, Marketing Cloud, right?
yeah. We have marketing, we
Yeah.
have field service. It is a lot of
Mhm.
clouds.
Mhm.
So I also want to understand the challenge maybe you were facing while you basically just bought the Salesforce in terms of what challenges you were facing at that time.
Mhm. Well, the challenges were like we didn't know how to start with Salesforce development. So um, there were some companies that had huge quotes out to us to create our build, and
Yeah,
some were American companies, some were overseas, and even the overseas companies, some of them were still really expensive. So we decided to, obviously not with you guys, but we worked with a different company that took a approach of just building out a proof of concept slash scope of work, because with a
yeah,
big implementation,
yeah.
it's a job on its own, just to create
Right.
the scope of work of what you want, document how you want it to work, etc. Some people even have full-time jobs doing just that. And so, we started there, and then we started developing with that company, and they just took so long. I think we were about a year into development, and we
Okay.
weren't really changing anything. It was a whole year to develop, three clouds, and
Exactly.
in the end, we really only got
Investment.
one cloud set up. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it took so long. And then we switched. We thought there might have been a problem with, you know, a language barrier. That was an Eastern European company. So we hired an American company to help us, and we had the same experience. They were trying to rush through things more than
Oh,
the other company. They didn't go as deep, and that was when we were actually using a US based company. And then we switched finally to you guys, and I feel like you guys were the ones that kind of took it slow, similar to the Eastern European company, but you guys actually, I'd say, understood what we were looking for better than other companies, and actually implemented things. It was a little bit quicker. It was quicker to implement, and then we would take a look at it and then make a little refinement, and then we're good. We're live. So it was a much better experience, and less back and forth. And I call it hand holding. We didn't have to hold your hand as much as some of the other companies.
thank you so much for the compliment and a few
Mhm.
more things like how useful did basically whatever we did it have you got the knowledge transfer the documentation how good that was.
From you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you're always, from what I've found, you guys are always available to do trainings. It's a lot easier for what you've done for us in the past to just record a training video, and then we have someone on our team kind of break it down into steps. So that works great. But documentation, I think it's been good. I haven't honestly taken too close of a look at that because I'm not a developer, so I guess I wouldn't know unless, Umesh
But
switched
yeah.
to someone else.
No worries, no worries. But I think I hope your team have all the things in their hand. That's why they're happy. I think one final
Mhm.
thing I would like to ask. Finally, what would you say to someone maybe considering us for Salesforce implementation or any sort of challenge like you faced in the past?
Um, I would say it's using somebody like I'm assuming a lot of your customers are probably from the US
Yeah.
and or from Europe, and I would say it's not even the local companies aren't the best in our experience. So I would say don't let that be a hindrance, using an overseas company. You guys are trustworthy. But I would also say see what the initial experience is with a when you're evaluating, Salesforce development companies, because whatever experience you have in the beginning, like let's say you give like a test project, right? And this is something that we actually did. We had a little test project and we said, all right, we're going to give these two companies a little
Yeah.
test project and they're both going to do the same thing and
Yeah.
see how they would develop the scope of work and how they would get started. And I would say you could even test it out that way. Have one company do something that's and see how each company would approach the scope of work and development and how they would architect the design of it.
Yeah, A/B testing is always important, and I hope
Mhm.
because we also have a long-term relation, so I think everything looks good now.
Mhm.
So yeah, Eugene, thank you so much for your time.